Hello, very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our live webinar today again. Before we start, I just want to do a quick check whether all of you can hear me well. All right, let me just check on my end. My mic seems to be working. So let me know if you can't hear or see my presentation slides. All right. Okay, it's 2 p.m. now in Singapore. So today we will be talking about FBA inventory management, specifically on diagnosing your FBA restock issues. So it's going to last about 45 minutes. I will spend maybe about the first 30 minutes or so to walk you through the contents. And then later on, we'll leave the time for some Q&A. All right, so once again, my name is Jun Liang. I'm the trainer here in Amazon Seller Education team located in Singapore. All right, so at any point of time, if you have any questions, do feel free to put in the Q&A box. We will address it at the end of the session. And then all the session, including the one today, will be recorded, and you can view the recording as well at our official YouTube playlist. So if in any point of time, let's say you want to revisit certain, like especially in things on policy, please do go on to Seller University to get the most updated information if you were to view this recording at a much later date. All right, these are just some important notice. All right. All right, so first of all, I just want to introduce you, everyone here about the concept of what we call the weeks of cover. You may see this often in inventory management topic. In short, it's called WOC. So in Amazon, the weeks of cover is counted, or rather it's being calculated based on this formula here. All right. So this is an important indicator, and I will go through why. So it is based on your on-hand inventory plus the inventory currently being processed by Amazon, and then divided by your average weekly sales. Right now, of course, here refers to the inventory that is being located, or rather shipped into the Amazon warehouse. All right, but of course, you can also use this for your own inventory calculation that may not be on Amazon as well. So this is a good, I would say, a good formula to know. So in Amazon, we recommend that seller keep weeks of cover between 4 to 8 weeks. All right. So there's some reason, or rather, why is this so? You can see over here. So in terms of what we see here, for weeks of cover less than 4, meaning that your stocks available may not be able to cover you for 4 weeks. All right, so this is what you see here. All right, and then by having at least about 8 weeks of cover, you will be able to have a healthy inventory. So in the event of you need to have more sales, you will have enough stocks to actually fulfill the sales. All right, so if you have anything less than a week of 4, you might have a out of stock risk. All right, and then again, keeping to about 8 weeks of week of cover, WOC, sorry. So you have a healthy inventory, then you will be able to manage your storage capacity as well. All right, so if you have more, you might be having excess inventory. All right, so over here, I will also share some of the things that you could do. Let's say if you have any excess inventory, but ideally it's best to keep within 4 to 8. All right. So this is the questions that you will normally want to know, right? So we have this, what we call like a simple workflow diagram to get you thinking. Now, first question is, do you know which of your ASIN are at risk of being out of stocks? So let's say if you do not know, you can go to the report in Seller Central. Right, so there is actually a report under the FBA inventory. Over there, you can download the reports, and then in the Excel file, there will be a column called the weeks of cover there, where you can see the number that I've been telling you to keep it within 4 to 8. Yeah. All right. Yep. So again, this is where some of the links I will share as well on where you can find your report under the inventory health report. All right. So to reiterate again, it's best to keep within 4 to 8 weeks of WOC, weeks of cover. And again, you can see this number in the report itself. There's one of the column which will be telling you WOC. You can search for the column as well. So per your ASIN, they will actually give you a number based on your past historical sales, etc. So moving on to the next question, let's say if you do know that which of your ASIN is at a risk of being out of stock, right? Then you might want to start thinking whether do you want to replenish your inventory for that particular ASIN. So some of the seller may think that the sales are not strong, then or maybe unsure of whether there are sufficient inventory or not. So we do have tools to help you to do that. All right, so in Seller Central, there is this feature that you can see your sales forecast. Right. So you go to Seller Central inventory under FBA inventory, and under the restock inventory page, you can see a sales summary column. Over there, you can see your forecast. All right. So the forecast is based on what we call a probabilistic forecasting model. Basically, it just means probability. All right, to give you that kind of forecast. All right. So, and again, this will also based on your historical data, your historical orders, active transaction, or any other seasonal effect that may be. Right now, the next question you might think is, you want to replenish, but then you can't because you think you have an inbounding restrictions, or you already know that you have inbounding restrictions. So firstly, what you can do, or rather, one of the ways to release your capacity limit. All right, or you can also request for additional capacity, which I'll go through later. Now, your capacity limit is actually determined by these 4 factors here: the IPI score, your forecast sales, and time required for shipment to arrive at the warehouse, and other factors over here. All right. So you'll receive a capacity limit for each storage type. And then again, also for the next month, it will be based on your estimated capacity limit for the next 2 months. Do take note, all right? So there are also some other ways, okay, or rather there are 4 ways to release your capacity limit, so you can free up your storage, and then you will be able to know inbound more. So first of all is to expand the market, running deals, promotion discount, or you can move your inventory, or lastly you can clear your excess storage, or sorry, excess inventory. Now, expand to other countries. Let's say you plan to expand to the other market. So let's say if you are already selling on the North American market, like Amazon.com, or you can consider selling also in Europe, the other regions as well. And alternatively, if you have your own website, then you can also use this MCF, multi-channel fulfillment, to actually fulfill your products. All right, meaning that you can fulfill your order off the Amazon sales channel, like your own website or some other website. All right, there will be other features you can do to do that, like a order form, bulk order upload, or you can also use API integration if you have people to help you implement that. Or the other way is to run promotions, deals, discount, etc. So this is what the merchandising tools that is available for the sellers in Amazon. So there you can run PED, Prime exclusive discounts, Amazon coupons. So for deals as well during the events, or even when no events, you can also run some deals. And something that maybe more sellers do not know is there is also what we call the business price and quantity discount. All right, so you can actually set a different pricing for bulk buyer, meaning the business buyers. All right, lastly, you can also leverage outlet deals to clear some of your overstock inventory. All right, so outlet deals are typically like a 2 weeks promotional offer. So there is a specific outlet page that will feature all the outlets deals there. So the other method is to move your inventory. So we do have SPN or service provider network, have some provider that can help to store your excess inventory. So let's say, you might be able to find a more cost-effective place to temporarily store your inventory. So that is something doable as well. All right, the last method is to clear your access. So this is what we already currently have, like the automated removal process. Right. So at the end of it, right, depending on the conditions of your inventory, right, let's say if you were to run any promotions and then if you still do have leftover, right, you can also opt for the liquidations. All right. So for inventory that can't be liquidated, there can be donations, and also finally it can be disposed as well for recycle or landfill purposes. All right. So of course the value will get lesser and lesser as you go down this chain. So the best is that run promotions, run outlet deals, etc. to try to clear the overstock inventory. All right. So one more thing is you can also request for additional capacity. All right. So let's say you really want to keep your current inventory, and then you do need additional capacity. You can request it. All right. So in the capacity manager, there's a way to request for additional capacity. All right. But of course, there'll be some fees involved to request for it. I'll quickly go through the steps. All right. So typically for step one, right, you will need to tell Amazon how much additional capacity that you think you need, and then you need to specify the reservation fee. So this is the fee I'm talking about. All right, that you are willing to pay for the space. All right, then you can go through the steps that is highlighted to you. All right, and then going forward, you will typically check whether your capacity request has been accepted. All right, it takes usually about 2 weeks. 2 times per week. Oh, it means that you will access 2 times per week when you put in the request. Yep. All right. So as you begin to generate sales from the product, right, using the additional capacity, you will start to earn what we call a performance credit for every dollar generated to offset the reservation fee. So in a way, you don't need to pay the so-called reservation fee upfront. You will be offsetted from the sales that you get from having the additional capacity. All right. So where can you check your capacity? So in your FBA inventory page, at the bottom, you can pull up this capacity monitor to look at your current capacity. So the next question usually seller had in mind is, you want to replenish, but you can't do it because you think it's very hard to predict the arrival time. So one of the solutions that we would have is to pay attention to the inbounding alerts. Right, and then of course, first of all, choose a reliable first mile logistic provider. Make sure your provider is familiar with the inbounding process. So a lot of them actually, if you tell them upfront that you wanted to send your stock over to Amazon US fulfillment warehouse, you'll be able to tell whether are they familiar on these steps, etc. Right, and also do not send to the wrong warehouse, because if you, or rather when you create the shipment plan, you'll be designated a warehouse. So if your shipment is rather big, it may be split. So do take note, and then during the shipment split, the warehouse might be different as well. So this is something you need to be aware of. And lastly, one thing to pay attention is if you are planning to ship in your inventory so that it's in time for any major promotion events, for example, like Prime Day, Prime Big Deal Days, or even Black Friday, Cyber Monday, etc., you want to make sure that you ship in before or on the cutoff date, all right, so that you will be in time for you to enjoy, the exposure you get during the major promotions. Yeah. So do take note of the cutoff date. Yep. Okay, next question. Usually you think, you want to replenish, but you you believe, there could be issues with shippings and handling times, etc., right? Because of the different logistic provider that you engage with, you're unsure. All right. So of course you need to manage the shipment timing well. So for the what we have in Amazon that we kind of recommend, the first mile logistics solutions, we have Amazon Global Logistic AGL, or the Amazon Cross Border Shipping Partner Program. All right. So you can also consider this, or you can also consider other alternative from the service network provider, or even source your own provider as well. The main thing to note is you want to understand the, how it's been done. You're confident that the provider can provide what you need, right? Because there will be a lot of other different things you need to take note of, like insurance or any other fees that you need to be aware of when you are shipping in to do, or rather to do cross-border shipment. All right. So the next question that normally comes to mind also, you are not sure how much you need to replenish, because you do know that there will be the storage fee. If you replenish too much, you can't get it, you can't clear the inventory on time, you incur more costs, etc., right? So you can find out that we do have a tool that it's the Restock inventory tool, right? So this tool will actually take into account your sales history and some forecasting based on your quarterly sales, all right, and some of the data that you can enter yourself to help you determine how much inventory to send and when to send it. All right, so this is free to use. So to find this, you can go to your Seller Central. On the top, you can just search for Restock Inventory Tool, and then it will bring you to the page as well. All right. So when you use the tool, right, there are just 3 steps when using the Restock tool. First of all, when you click the tool, it will ask you to configure like a lead time. That is something that only you are aware of, right? And then you input your setting. How often do you send in your inventory, and how do you plan your units? All right. And then lastly, you can put in the other details, what we call the economic settings, your cost of purchase, variable cost, etc. Right? So this will give you an idea on suggestions on your restocking plan. So don't worry, I will share the link as well. There is a very good video about how you can use the restock tool effectively. Right. So the other way, or rather the final how to get to know how you can replenish your inventory, there are some steps of workflow that we'd like to share. All right, these are the 5-step workflow for replenish your inventory at the Amazon Fulfillment Center, right? So we do have some rules that we suggest for you. So rule 1 is to check your capacity limit and the requirement for your inventory inbounding. All right, check whether you have available capacity, and some important note is your listing restrictions. Right. Make sure that the item that you are shipping in is not part of the restrictions, or if let's say you need to have approval, etc., make sure you get those approval or authorization done before that. Now the second rule is to make sure you do this kind of match and improve your listing. In a way, make sure that your code, your EAN, UPC code, etc., matches the ASIN, which is your product, etc., and also your FN SKU code, right? So any number that is incorrect, meaning that in the warehouse they won't be able to match it, and you might have delay in terms of inbounding your inventory. So do make sure to check all these details. And then if you are packing your product yourself, or you are getting some other third party to pack for you, make sure they follow the packing requirement. All right, this will ensure a better, smooth, seamless inbounding process at the warehouse. So I won't go through each and every steps, but there are links here, and also there are video tutorial if you are not sure how exactly you need to pack certain items. And also there is a packing and prep requirements. So this is just a general overview of what you need to do. Make sure your products are packed correctly. All right, if it's fragile item, make sure you put it upright. All right. Right, so I will maybe just zoom in some of the examples here. You can see, right? You can see, if you did not pack it correctly, these are some of the potential incident that can happen. These are real incident from our warehouses. All right, yeah, these are the things that you should not do, like excessive packing, etc. All right, and also these are the final details. So, like I said earlier on when I mentioned, if you find a provider who is very well versed in doing shipment into Amazon US warehouse, that will save you a lot of time. You will not need to really, handle all these things because you know that they are a provider who's very familiar with how to pack and ship it to the Amazon US warehouse. So that will save you a lot of time. But if let's say you are going to really pack it yourself, you are somebody who have your stocks maybe in your own warehouse, etc. So you will have to really go on and read through the different requirements depending on which product category you are shipping in. There might be different ways to pack it. All right, so all this information is available on the packing and prep requirements, so don't worry if you miss out anything. But do take note that these are the key things you need to be aware of. All right, and I want to zoom in this part as well for everyone to see. Right, there are some recommended packaging materials, and there's also those that is not recommended. Right, do take note. All right, labeling. All right, so the labeling part is also to make sure that whatever you get to print out during your shipment plan, you'll be able to print out the label and then make sure that you label it to the right product. All right. So avoid, all these mistakes, right? Missing label, or you label it correctly, or the label was crumpled or smudged or smeared that is unscannable, because how the item is being checked in the warehouse is they will use a scanner to scan those labels because there has barcodes on it, right? So make sure you put it correctly. So I also want to zoom in on these mislabeling examples. So do not follow all these examples, right? So the second image is what mislabeling, so when it's scanned, it might be actually a water bottle, but then the product is actually a hat. So this is a wrong labeling and it will cause delay as well. Right. So the third one is also very common, somehow it's done in a very manual way and you stick a lot of scotch tape on it and then it gets crumpled or overlap, etc. So do take note, the correct way to do it, on the box. All right, don't put it at the sticker portion. All right, make sure you always put it at a side area, because if let's say it was being opened up to do check, etc., your whole label and sticker will be cut away. Yep. Yep. So yeah, I mean that could happen. When you do cross-border shipment, it might be checked. It might be subjected to random check at the shipment arrival, etc. So to make sure you don't paste it on the scotch tape area. All right. Now rule 4 is make sure you provide the accurate content, box content information. Okay. So meaning that on your shipment plan, you put in the right details, etc. All right, so the rest are pretty straightforward, like standardize your shipment and transport safely. So lastly, on your shipment plan, when you create, right, there's also a portion that you can enter the tracking information. So this is important as well. So if you're able to put in the right tracking details, the Amazon will also be able to get an estimate on when the goods will arrive at a warehouse. So make sure you put those information correctly in as well. All right. All right, I'm going to end off with some what we call we have a new one pager created. So if you are going to participate in the upcoming peak season in Q4, this will be a good guide for you to download. I will share the link in the video description when I upload the video today as well. And in Seller University, you can access it through Seller Central if you have an account already, which I believe most of you would have account. All right, and then you can also go there and read on the other materials in a more detailed document form for someone or somebody who likes to read. You'll be able to track your progress on the page as well. So these are links that I've gone through the resources. I will share it on the video descriptions. And then also I will also share our new one pager on Q4 holiday seasons for you to have a read and prepare for the holiday season if you are going to participate. All right, I'm going to move on to the Q&A segment already. So I didn't see any questions during the registration input form. So if you put in some questions, maybe later part of the morning where I miss out, you can put in a Q&A. I'll be able to address it, right? Now, our September webinar is also up already that you can register. So we have all these sessions. So if any of the topic interests you or you want to find out more, do go and sign up at the first link here. All right, the first QR code here. So we also have some evening sessions. So we heard, some feedback that maybe some timing is not good. So majority of the sessions are in like the typical 2 p.m. timing, but we're gonna have 2 evening sessions in the September period. And then before we end August, there's 2 more sessions in August. All right. So on the 29th, we have a topic about how can you grow your business with the brand building tools that Amazon have for all sellers, and also what are the tips to improve your account health. All right. So let me know if you have any question. I will be looking at the question box right now. All right. Thank you everyone for your feedback. Now I'm gonna just be around here for another minute. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the Q&A. All right. Now, since we have a little bit more time, you can also ask me questions that may not be relevant to FBA restock issues. You can also ask me any other questions. If I know and I can help, I'll definitely address it for you. All right. I believe the session today is clear because I don't see any questions for any one of you. So thank you so much. I really appreciate everyone's time here with me on today's Amazon Live webinar. So have a good day and I will see you at the next webinar. Goodbye.